Hey guys, what's up? It's Sola and I'm back from holiday. I was in Nice for the week and I'm back now. So I'm going to be getting back into the After Effects tutorials, and we're going to start today by finishing off the generators. And we've not got that many to look at, so I think we finished on radio waves last time, but the last few are actually quite useful. So I'm going to make a solid here and I'm going to make a mask. So let's just make, let's do a star, and I've got this really weird mask going on. Let's, in fact, I tell you what, let's do a polygon instead, because that will be easier to see. So I'm going to make this solid a slightly different color, and if we come into Scribble, I'm going to drop Scribble on here. And as you can see, what this does is it creates a really cool overlaid kind of scribble effect within the mask area. And as you can see, I've literally done nothing but drop Scribble on there. And this is really good because it works within the area of wherever your mask is. So you can move the mask around and you can already see the potential. You can change the color of the stroke here. So it doesn't work on the solid color, you have to change it in here. Can have a single mask, all masks using modes, so that's when you've got like intersecting masks. So let's say we added 2 masks and we did all masks using modes, but then you add we did like intersect, so it will only kind of show in between. So that's what that does. We can have inside centered edge, which is like kind of like on the stroke, inside edge, outside edge, all that kind of good stuff. Right edge, which doesn't really make sense in this case, but the way I would use this, so obviously you can see you can change the angle of the stroke, you can change the width of the stroke, but most importantly you got the start and the end, so you can get it to kind of right on and right off like that. So that's really useful. You got the, so if I just preview a short chunk of this, let's do 3 seconds. As you can see here, we've got this kind of, this stroke is kind of more jumpy, which is as you would expect. Static doesn't move at all, in case you don't want it, and then smooth is kind of like this more, I guess almost like thread, and you could use it to create a kind of thread effect. But I like jumpy because it's if you are going to be using Scribble, you kind of usually want to use it as a sketch effect. So what I would do is I would usually, if we come into, let's say in this comp, I'm going to paste this on here, but what I'm going to do is delete this mask and just make a mask the whole size of the comp, and I'm going to fill it up. So if we bring that to 100, and then what I would do is just use it like maybe not as an overlay, but in kind of a darker one, and then just change this to a darker color. And basically maybe, yeah, so you can kind of use it as a sketch effect almost, and so I usually just use the whole frame, and then if I completely desaturate this, so if I did black and white, and literally like blew a lot of this out to completely black and white, so if I had like a curves on here afterwards, and then literally like black and white, so you can see how you could get like quite a cool sketch effect. So that's how I use it generally. You can also use it within shapes, but that's how I would tend to use that effect generally. Really useful, super useful effect. If we come back to generate now and come to, well, stroke and right on actually really similar. So the way, I mean, one of the most popular questions is if I have some text or something, how can I reveal it in a custom way? So let's say we have this text we want to reveal, and I'm going to put this in the middle of the comp, and I'm going to choose a slightly different font. I hate working with this tiny workspace, it's not for me. So let's pick a font which has a fin, but yeah, something like this, more interesting, and we're going to make it white. So let's say we want to reveal all the letters, but I'm just going to do this V. So write on works in the way that if you drop a reveal on, I'm going to change the color of this to red so we can see it, and if we scale it up, it's always in the middle by default. So you've got to see this as the kind of brush you're going to use to reveal the words. So we're going to leave this, if we come to the start of the composition, and we're going to keyframe the position here. So I'm going to move on, I'm going to zoom in here, I'm going to move on like 3 frames, move this forward, move on 3 frames, move it down, move on 3 frames, move it up, and then move on maybe a couple frames and move it right. And then if we change this from paint style on original to reveal image, now we'll see what we're doing is we're kind of like revealing the text, and that's how you'd kind of reveal letters. And as you can see at the moment, it's a bit soft. If you want to make that harder, literally just go to crank the hardness up to maximum, and then you've got a completely hard edge when you're doing it, which can be pretty cool. So if we have a look at that, and so that's how I use write on exclusively. I've never really used it for any reason other than a custom mask, because if you were to try and do this with a mask, you might have problems when you get to these kinds of letters, and so you would have to literally draw a mask, and then, you know, like, I'm not going to do it because it's just a crap way to work. I've done a shape layer there, but it's just a really bad way to work. So I would create a mask on here, and then if I came to getting my keyboard shortcuts mixed up, this is what happens when you've been away for a week. So you would have to kind of do something like that, and then add extra points, and then come down and then reveal those, and it's really messy. So like, you can do it like this, and that's how I used to do it before I found this effect. But write on is the best way to reveal text and any kind of thing in a line, really. So I would recommend using write on for those reasons. And moving on, we are going to, in fact, I'm going to keep the text layer we have here. I'm going to delete this mask so we get it back. And let's have a look at Vegas. So what's going to happen is I'm going to make this text black. So it's still here, you know, it's still here, but just black on black. And for the stroke, we're going to leave it on image contours, and then on the contours input layer, we're going to select reveal, which is this layer. You can also have it on a separate layer if you want to put this Vegas effect on a solid and then use this text to kind of drive the effect. But nothing seems to be happening until you pull the threshold down. And this should be revealing. I can't think, unless I've gone the wrong way. Let me have a look here. Okay, so for some reason when you do it black, okay, let's do it on red or something like that. And we're going to bring the intensity all the way down. If you come all the way, like, it might jump to the edge of the frame, which is not what we want to do. And the tolerance is kind of like how accurate it is to the side. So what, I'm not sure if you can see this, we've created these little light yellow lines, and we can make them thicker or not. We can do them on transparent, which is kind of what I was trying to do. But I'm going to do them over, and we're going to make the width kind of shorter, and you can change the hardness, make them hard. No pun intended there. And what you can do is you can make these longer or shorter, depending on how long you want them. But it's kind of really good for doing neon sound effects, because what you can do is then like animate them around the edge of the text. So let's see, over a second here, let's just move this phase. And as you can see now, you've got a kind of like marching ants effect. And if I was to do this on transparent, I could just duplicate on the bottom one, delete the Vegas effect, and then on the top one just do this on transparent. And so now I've got the kind of same effect, but on the bottom one I can make this dark, and I'm not quite sure why this is not working. Okay, let's undo that. But the point being that you can also stack this Vegas effect, and if we duplicate this, and we can make one of them, I don't know, like blue, and if you slightly offset it by moving this, I'm going to delete this effect underneath. Ah, there we go, that's why. Yeah, so you can make this one blue. And so now you've got a slightly different effect. I'm not sure why this one's not yellow, but I guess maybe if you have it on transparent and not over. And let's come down here, over. There we go. So yeah, you can basically stack these effects, and then obviously if you're having them on transparent, you can add glows and stuff, and make this kind of stuff like really pop out and look kind of savage. So it's kind of really good way for, and you can do it not just on image contours, you can have it with masks, which is a lot more accurate. So if you had a mask, you would have to change the mask to none, obviously, but then input layer reveal, and then you can just change it to the mask path. Then it lets you select the mask, and then as you can see again, we've got the effects stacked, and so you can create some really cool neon signs like this. So that's this how I use Vegas. It's like pretty cool for creating these kind of like abstract marching ant effects. So definitely one I would recommend. And the last one I wanted to show you is the where is it now? If you take glow off, generate. If we come down, there's the stroke effect. So the stroke effect is kind of neat. It's very similar to write on. So I mean, at the moment I've got it on this reveal layer, so maybe I'll just put it on a solid. And again, if we draw a shape, just delete that layer underneath, and we come to stroke. This basically, I mean, I don't really use it as much because it kind of does, this is one of the oldest effects in After Effects, and before you used to be able to, so again you can do on transparent, so let's do that. And so what it does is it essentially allows you to add a stroke to your mask. Now, as you guys remember, you can pretty much do that with shape layers, and there's a lot more control in there, but you can like animate the offset here of like your stroke, and so you can have like an animated stroke, and the spacing is just the kind of, you can change it to dots basically if you come all the way out. But again, all these kind of things are in the shape layers, so I don't really use it that much anymore. But this is probably worth showing because it's one of the oldest effects that was around, and before shape layers were invented, this is how you would have done the kind of like the animated stroke, as it kind of drew on and that kind of stuff. And yeah, okay, maybe not as useful as it used to be, but I thought I'd kind of show you guys just to show it's there, because you can do a bit like the right on, you can do reveal original image as well. So if you've got a coloured solid under here, or maybe it's like a gradient underneath, not that it would matter, but you can reveal those kind of colors, and maybe that's where it's slightly more powerful than the stroke, because you can have you can create these crazy gradients. And again, you can have gradients on the shape layers, but at least with these you can have like the 4-color ramp, 4-color gradient, sorry, which has like 4 different colors, and so you can play with all that kind of stuff. And I mean, there's always a reason why you might want to use it, but you've just got to kind of experiment and see when it might come in useful. But I've just thought I'd point it out in case one day, you know, like you might want to do a certain effect, and this might be the answer to doing that. Maybe, maybe not, who knows. But thanks for watching, guys. That's the end of the generators. We're going to be moving on to keying and that kind of stuff. So that's a green screen, so I'm going to try and find some green screen footage to show you guys how to remove a green screen, which is one of the most common questions when doing VFX. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm also going to be doing an Ask Me Anything, so if you guys have any questions, put them in the comments, or if you hashtag AskZola on Twitter and just send them to me on there. I've had a few questions already, so once I've had a few more questions, I will answer those questions, and I'm going to stop saying questions now. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.